So today we're taking a trip down to the old ghost towns of Millville and Charleston. We're gonna do one of the summits there, not the one that's behind the actual ghost town of Charleston, but the one that's gonna be behind the mills of Millville, and that's where we're gonna be. Right now I'm on Route 80, so the route for me is gonna be Route 80 into Tombstone, then Charleston Road, and then once you get on Charleston Road, you'll see all of the stuff for Millville. We're gonna pull off onto the power line roads before that in order to get to the summit. So that's where we're going today. Okay, so one of the things you want to look for how I do this is these tan power poles. We're gonna be roughly milepost 9.7 is where you're gonna pull in here. And there's a gate here. Now this is all state land, so technically you need a state land pass, but you can see all these big power poles over here, these transmission lines. Now the summit that we're going for is this one right here, and just on the other side of this little patch of mountains are the mills from the old mill town of Millville, and then Charleston is across the river. You can get to these from the other side if you want. It's just more of a hike, so if you wanted to spend your time hiking through the ruins and stuff and then up, you could probably do it. I've never tried it. I've always done it this way. So I just take this road down until I get as close as I can get to it, and then from there I just hike in. Like most of the area around here, this place is just riddled with old mines. Here are mine shafts. There's a mine shaft here. I wouldn't suggest doing this. I'm in two-wheel drive. If you're gonna come out to this, you're probably gonna want at least two-wheel drive, high clearance though, because like that spot right there by that old mine shaft, it's a little bit on the higher clearance. I'm in a Jeep Liberty, which is a relatively low clearance, so if you're gonna keep a lower clearance vehicle, you know, pay attention to certain parts of these roads because you'll bottom out. But anyway, this just sort of goes up and around to the right, and then from there we're just gonna park and we'll hike up. There are plenty of spots here where people have parked. Hunting season, people are in here hunting dove and all that other stuff. This is a fairly large pullout here that I like to park in, and this is where we're gonna start the hike. It's still a bit hot out. It's supposed to be in the 90s today. That doesn't really bother me. You know, as long as you're aware of what's going on, and I've been hiking for decades now, so you just have to kind of be aware of what's going on heat wise. And you can see, it looks like in the distance we have some storms coming in too. I said a 30% chance of thunderstorms today, but we're at the end of August, actually last day of August, so it's supposed to be in the 90s. It's doable. This is where we're going, this one right here. Basically the way I do it is I hike up. You probably can't see it, but there's a mine shaft right there, so I sort of head right up into that saddle and then up. That's where we're going. Just one fence to cross here, and that's it. But we're in Cochise County, and Cochise County is a winter bonus area, so if I wanted, and I don't, I could literally go just a few miles west of here and I could do a similar size summit, and I can get 3 more points. Here in Cochise County, you only get the points for winter, and you only get them, I think, I don't remember what, I think it's 7,000 feet or something like that. You have to be over a certain elevation, so winter in a certain elevation. Pima County, they got a heat bonus, so you can, any summit is a bonus. in the summer. So we're coming up here. You can see there's a trail. So if you wanted to hike it, you can. I don't know, I want to say this is the San Pedro River Trail, or it's one of those, either that or Sky Island or both. This comes up from, there's a trailhead on the other side, and this hikes up, and then this will actually take you, if I remember correctly, all the way back to Boston Mill, which was in the old town of, I think it was called Emeryville. I don't remember, it's been a while, but you can hike through here. Up on the hill there, you can see, it's all green and brown, but you can see that tan. That's a mine shaft. And then coming in along this side of it is a gulch. So you don't really want to get down and then come back up. I try to stay to the left of it and go up past that mine shaft and then up. You can go do this. You can come down there and go up that way too, I guess, if you want. But this is the way I go. I want to get stuck in that gulch. So here we are, we're at the mine shaft. And there's a bunch of these around here. I mean, tons and tons and tons. But you can see this one's not super deep. I'm not someone who digs on exploring inside of these things, so I don't really even like standing on the edge like I am right now. But the summit is right there. Another 100 yards. Another 100 yards up here to the saddle, and then just work my way to the top. It's a relatively easy summit, like most of these smaller ones around Tombstone. It's about halfway to the summit from where I was at the mine. There's the the saddle, about halfway. And there's the summit. Just gonna finish this off. Okay, we're on the last leg of this. Summit's right there. There's the saddle. So this is about a 45 minute hike, something like that for me. You youngsters could probably do it quicker. Anyway, I'm just gonna work my way up the easy paths there and get to the top. All right, there's the summit. Okay, we just crested the summit here and we're at the top. Just a matter of finding a spot to set up. I think I set up over here usually. Just some brief history. If you're interested in Charleston and Millville and the history of the area relative to the Old West and the silver mining and all of that, and all the way up to it being part of Fort Huachuca during World War II, I'll link some videos. Just on the other side of this mountain right here are the mills for Millville. That's where most of the work, or all the work, happened. I don't know if you can see it, but over there you can see one color green on the trees. Those are cottonwoods, and behind it is just a square of mesquites. That's where the old town site and the ruins of Charleston are. If you go down that gulch that way, the cemetery is there, and then if you go back behind these mountains, it's the Charleston Maneuver Area and Range Complex number 1, which was used by the Buffalo Soldiers during World War II for training. Like I said, I'll link videos. I'm gonna set my gear up and get my SOTA started. Well, unfortunately, I've been having problems with my little paddle here. I don't know, it's just been wonky, and I put a new wire on it and it doesn't want to work. I don't know what's wrong with it, so I'm gonna have to do some more work on it, I guess. Try to figure out why it doesn't like to work. It was doing good, it did good for a long time, and now all of a sudden it doesn't. So I'm gonna have to use this one, and that's not gonna make for videoing all that great, but we'll do it. Let me go spot myself here and we'll get started. One 10132. I'll just wait. Somebody will decide it's time to go again. More to 5-9.
Let's move up. Busy up here. I'm gonna get pounded on this channel too. I want to say it's 6. I know that's easier to hear on the camera. I can't really narrow my... Okay. Yeah. And I can't remember which paddles didn't die for some reason. First one of the year, so I'm rusty. All right, let's move up. Wow. All right, let's move her up. There's France. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a day for today. For anybody interested, my setup here is I have a fishing pole with an end fed and RG, I think 174 over to my KX2, And I'm going to go ahead and pick all this up and head on down the mountain. I don't know if the buzzards think I'm going to die up here, but there's a whole bunch of them flying around me right here. Look at that. And there's some crows up there because I can hear them too. But yeah, these buzzards, just sort of something going on around here. But anyway, just a real quick overview of the top here. Out that way is Sierra Vista. Like I showed you before, this is Charleston. That summit right there behind this tree, that's another SOTA summit. I can't remember what the name is. It's another number designation. And then over there is an old ranch, and then back up that way is Tombstone, and then up over there is Benson, St. David area. But I'm going to go ahead and hike down. I'm probably not going to film a lot of it on the way down because I filmed it all on the way up. So anyway, thanks for watching.